So, it's working. So we are in the agenda. We're going to speak about what is the VSI dollar support tool, where you can find it, how it is used for problem reporting, system management, how you can call it, use it, and also what happens if it hangs and how you can still execute it, at least partly. And of course, if you have questions, you can interrupt me. So what is it? It is in fact, it is a DCL command procedure, which was written by VSI support, because when customer open call, it is nice to have a snapshot of the system configuration. That avoids a lot of mails asking questions. What is the version of VMS you have? What are the patches that are installed, and so on. So you get a snapshot of system configuration, error logs, and it helps troubleshooting the issue. So I got the idea because to do this because Oracle has a tool like that. It's a little similar with an HTML output. Digital also has some tools to collect information. So, but we did not have one at VSI, so we put this in place at the VSI support team. And it generates a report on the system configuration, and you can have it in HTML format and text format. So usually it takes about 30 seconds, depending on the system, to 2 or 3 minutes to execute, and it generates a report in your current directory. And at first I was not convinced that the HTML was useful, but in practice it is very useful. And when we give today, if we receive a report in text format or a support call, well, it is a pain because with the HTML, you have a snapshot of the system very fastly, and you can see problems, even not related to the call, quite fastly. So it contains about 350 DCL commands and some log files, and also extracts of some log files. Also, it does not gather sensitive information like UAF, user information, or a complete report of the network of the customer, which is just for the local node. Some customers don't want to send the information that they consider sensitive. So since it is HTML or text, they can easily edit it and remove the part they don't want to send. It is sometimes it'll take some time to do it, but okay, you can do that. As we said, the HTML version is very handy to navigate with a web browser, and we use it. But the text version can be useful if you want to compare the system configuration at one date and later, because you can use commands more efficiently, commands like differences or search to find problems. So you can generate in a single run the HTML report and the text report at the same time. And of course, it is not only used now by support. It was initially done by support, but it is used by professional services. They will ask you a detailed report to prepare for an upgrade or to prepare for some installation. And also it is used it can be used by sales to do quotes, to do sales quotes for your system. And also, it is not used for marketing purposes, but we can do using the search. You can see how many customers use this, for instance, Pascal, and send a mail, dedicated mail, to inform them that there is an issue on Pascal, for instance, Pascal compiler or any other product. So if you have used it, I think you've already seen this. This is the screen that you have with the HTML version. And so you get, by clicking on the different parts, you get direct access to which part interests you. Usually we use most often the product list or the open VMS echoes when a problem is reported, because what we need first usually is the version of VMS which is used and patches which have been installed, because the problem may have been already solved by a patch. But you have all the information that you can get. So where do you kind of find it? On x86, it is part of the VMS distribution. So it is in $6 Manager, VSI$support.com. And on Alpha and Titanium, it was not in the base version, but it is distributed in the utility patches. So, but as new commands are frequently added, it is recommended to download the latest version, and you can put it in, rename it to VSI$support.com and put it in $6 Manager. So for problem reporting, if you open a call with VSI support, I think you've seen that usually the first mail you get is, can you please send us a VSI$support report? It is because it is very useful to get an overview of the system configuration and avoid, as we said before, asking for sending numerous mails to get the information. Another interest is that in the report, the DCL command which are used are shown. So if you don't know about the command, you can still have a report and then learn about the DCL command which are used to augment your VMS knowledge for the next time. And a detail which you have seen also is the firewall from VSI blocks HTML files, even if you zip them. So it is recommended to rename with another extension before zipping them, to send them by mail to VSI. Usually we recommend TXT.
Why don't you get the tool to create the file HTML text in the first place?
Yeah, it runs a debate about that because to use it by a browser, it's better to have an HTML because your browser will recognize it. So some customers prefer to look at the report by themselves before sending it to VSI.
Yeah.
So both approaches can work, but we decided that it is better to rename it. And also you can use it internally for system management. So it's better in that case to use it with the HTML. As the other thing on the previous slide, when you download the VSI$support from the website, you have or if it is sent to you, the file is in streamlf format, so it is recognized both by VMS and Windows. So normally, if you transfer with using text transfer, it should work from Windows to VMS. But depending on the FTP client you have or SFTP client you have, sometimes you have issues and the procedure will not work on VMS and you will be scrambled on the screen. So the best way is to transfer it, the zip version, because it is given in a zipped version, to VMS and unzip on VMS. So it will work. The DCL is in streamlf format. And also I said it was also on the service portal, right? Yeah, it's not only on the website. For customer, of course, with support contract, it is you will find also the latest version on the service platform. And for all architecture, and the kit name is VSI$support package name. Now, how can you use it for your own system management? Well, one way to use it is to create systematically reports at boot time and shutdown to track changes that happen during the life of the system between the boot and the shutdown. Especially if you shut down your system every 5 years, for instance. So, for instance, somebody may have changed system parameters in SimGen in the current set, but he has not updated mod params. And if you reboot your system, you know that the parameters which are not calculated by Autogen are reset to the default value by Autogen. So you will have surprises, and it is also possible that the system will not reboot. So any configuration change that has been done can be by comparing the two reports. So some sites are doing it daily, weekly, or monthly, and we have some customers which found by themselves problems because I know one customer which is doing a report daily, and on the Friday they began to have a problem, and then they looked at the different reports and they saw that something has been modified on Wednesday, and so they corrected it and the problem was solved. And also the biggest thing before doing something, the configuration change, hardware swap, OpenDMS upgrade, I recommend you do a detailed report and you keep it on another system safely. And we have many calls which are open. I've upgraded my system and after upgrade does not work. Okay, do you have a report from before so we can compare? No. So, and in most cases, I have at least one or two recent cases like that. Problem began after the upgrade, and the customer was saying it is the upgrade the problem, but no, the problem was existent on the system. It is the reboot which is the problem, or the autogen which were run by the upgrade, which reset the system parameters to the default values. So in that case, before an upgrade, it is very interesting to generate a report in both HTML and text format and keep it. Another example is on the boot options, for instance. You swap the CPU on an Itanium. You know that in some cases your boot options are erased because it is in the firmware. So normally it is to HPE or the hardware provider which swaps the CPU to save the VSI and restore it. But in many cases it is not done. So it is not very complicated to recreate them, but if you have a photo of your boot options, it will be easier. And also avoid to boot on the wrong disk and to have a cluster, for instance. So how do you use it? It is a standard DCL procedure. So you have 4 parameters. Usually only the first 2 are used. The first one, if it is text or HTML or no, sorry, if it is text, it will generate only the text report. It can be just T or text. If you put B or both, it will generate both the HTML and text reports in the current directory. If you don't say anything or put HTML, which is the default, it will create only the HTML report. And the second parameter is detailed, so you have more information than in the. It's not a big difference, but you have some more information, especially in the logs and in the networking information. So you can put P2 as a D or detailed or DET, whatever. It will generate the detailed report. Now, if you want to see on the screen what it is collecting, you can use a P3 parameter, which can be V or any text you want. It will generate you a log of on the screen where we are collecting what the procedure is doing. And if it hangs, you can skip, or if you don't need something, for instance, the deck windows part is quite big in the report and usually not needed because we have a few problems with deck windows. So you can use a parameter P4 like this, no deck windows / no Apache, and you will not collect the deck windows or Apache information. In fact, you don't need to put the no. You can just put deck windows / Apache.
Is it like slash is the delimiter?
The slash is the delimiter. The no is not needed. But in fact, yeah, this is deck windows. It's obvious, or Apache is obvious. But this is sometimes the product can be more complex than that. This is not exactly the name of the product. It is the HTML tag. But we can show them if you are not sure. So this is in the next topic, but it can be used also to show the tags. So sometimes it happens that the procedure hangs, but because it is usually when a customer call is open to VSI, there is a problem in the system. So it happens that a DCL command hangs somewhere, but we still need the report. But even you can skip the section where it hangs, but we can have the rest of the report. So for that, you are going to use the people parameter. So first, what we would do is first to execute it in the verbose mode. So we are, for instance, VSI are at VSI $support HTML detail V for variables, and it will on your screen you will see what it is doing. And this is, you see, for example, system overview is not, you cannot use system overview to skip the section, but this is the tag. So overview, CPU, memory, cluster. So in this case, the procedure hangs in the cluster information. It does go. Sometimes, because there is some control Y handler, sometimes by just pressing control Y and control C, it will skip the section and continue. But sometimes it will hang. So in that case, and also here, what you can see also is the version of the report, but also the temporary work directory, which is created in the current directory. It is using the $unique DCL function to generate a unique name. But if you have to interrupt your procedure or the system crashes or whatever during VSI $support, usually the directory is clean, but sometimes you can have this directory which remains. So you know that it is from VSI $support. You just delete the directory. And on older version of VMS, VSI, I forgot to say that it works on 4 architecture, VAX, Alpha, the same procedure, Itanium and x86. And the information collected is a little different. For instance, for x86, we connect information about the memory disk, which of course we do not collect on other architecture. So we using on an old version of VMS before $unique existed. This will not work. So we change the procedure to use another. We use a time and second to generate a unique name, but only on old version of VMS. So if it hangs here, you look at the tag cluster in that case, and you execute it using add VSI $support HTML detail V if you want, and no cluster. So in that case, if I come back here, you see that after memory, it was collecting the clustering information. Now, after memory, it goes directly to the system file location. So you can still generate a partial report if it hangs somewhere. And also, it is sometimes interesting to know where it hangs. So the verbose option is useful in that case. Okay, I think I've
I have
been
a
too fast,
question.
maybe. Yeah,
So if it hung, let's go back to it hung in cluster, right? So it hung in the cluster, does that, what's the chances we're having some kind of cluster, or whatever you gather there? What's the chances we're having some kind of cluster gathering problem? I mean, it hung in your example, it hung in the cluster.
Cluster, yeah.
So does that kind of tell you
Yeah,
as a VMS person?
Yeah.
I mean, it wouldn't necessarily tell me anything, but would it tell you as the support guy that the commands involved in here
yeah.
probably are gonna help me troubleshoot this problem?
Well, what I would do in that case is it's a DCL command procedure, so you can edit it or read it, and you see that it's classified by topics.
Right.
So you go directly to the topic, cluster topic, and you will see a list of the command. So you can just try this command and see which command hangs, and from then you can start your troubleshooting.
And have you used that before to do that, and has it helped?
Yeah,
Yes to both?
both.
Okay.
It helped to generate the report if it hangs, and also it is interesting to know where it hangs to be able to debug.
Thank you.
Just a comment, really. I think just seeing what it can do, I think I'm going to build this into my. I mean, we back the system up every day, but I can see that being useful when I do my full weekly backup. Is just run that procedure, make sure that file ends up on tape.
Yeah,
I think.
That's an amazing idea.
Yeah.
I think you should write a blog article on putting that into the backups.
Yeah.
I think that'd be a good blog article.
when you do a backup.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
Just add it right to the end of your backup
So you've got it.
or at the beginning, whatever.
Or the beginning. Yeah. I mean, when
I see a blog article.
So the first thing I do when I'm starting a backup is I do gather information, what disks are mounted, also the backup procedure itself, and everything's back up, so I know what is in order on the tape on the first save set.
Mhm.
So he's going all the way down the save set to the last save set to know, So I've tried to think about doing things like that. So I think.
But in that case, what does the procedure show exactly?
So it's when he's backing up the disk, it has a list of all the drives that are backing up and what the save sets are going to be called on the disk. So I know. So if I just restore the first save set, and it's in a specific directory, so I'll put that information in the same directory. So in that directory goes the backup procedure, all the disks and what they're going to be called for that save session and that data. So it almost gives me an index into the whole tape, because the whole backup procedure takes 12 hours. We're on LTO8, but we are backing up so much data, it takes so long to do. So having that we can quickly restore is going to be really useful. That's what I do. I'm trying to make my life easy for myself. I've been there 5 o'clock in the morning waiting for the 50th save set to restore. Yeah, I've been there, done it, don't like doing it.
But have you modified the procedure?
So sometimes, yes, the procedures do check, but so.
I mean, have you edited the procedure to add things?
No,
Okay.
no, but it's my own procedure. Does it? So, no, I'm not using this now, and I think that I will. But the save sets that go on tape all have disk name and they're encoded with the date as well, so keep them all separate. Okay. That's why we did it.
But as a matter of fact, we will not support it. But if you look at the procedure, it is very easy to add your own things. You see, there is a subroutine which is called create topic. So you can create a topic but do not do any output directly to the HTML or to the report. You have some procedure in that, which is one is called write DCL. You pass a DCL command as a parameter, and it will go into the report. And another one is called write SDA, and it will pass an SDA command to the procedure. And there is a third one, which I don't. It's called create topic. And also, there is one which is called write line, so you can write a line. So you can, if you want, you can easily add something, a topic to the procedure.
So a clue in SDA, a clue config is something we use really often.
Yeah, clue config is included
Okay.
in the report. But you could add a call write DCL, whatever.
Yeah.
I mean, there's nothing that prevents you from putting a set verify before you run this thing, right? And if you watch it all go across your screen as it's doing its thing. Set verify DCL command. So, before you run this, it's a command procedure, correct?
Yeah.
So just do a set verify before you run it, then it's,
Oh.
so we're asking about
Yeah,
where.
it is using the standard way of the VMS procedure with $F verify.
Okay,
So you can, if you put a set verify, that will not work.
Okay.
But if you create, if I remember well, if you create the VSI support.com _verify, it will run in verify mode.
okay,
I remember, but something like that, so you can easily find that.
that makes sense.
This command procedure runs on all VMS environments too.
Yes, on all VMS, except very old version of VMS on VAX where the pipe command does not exist. If you do not have the pipe command, but I think it has been here for about 20 years or more, so it's really with one case where it doesn't work on the VAX without the pipe command.
Nice.